You are, sir.
Thank you, Breakers.
Of course.
Okay. So let's hear this plan.
Very well. I'll be brief. The strategy that I've concocted, which, granted, I had to have a very awkward conversation with my my friend's dear mother to explain what I'm calling the train derailment strategy. The principal charges of this case revolve around motive, terrorism, and murder. Terrorism requires political intent. Murder in the first degree, and this is critical, murder in the first degree requires calculated thought. It requires someone to have already thought of committing the murder, not an act of passion, not an act of enraged emotions. The story that you spun to the police is actually perfect. Normally I'd say don't talk to the police, but it actually works in our favor. So, the train derailment case revolves around a simple principle. The affirmative defense that you, Peanut, Rami, whoever else, were informed that there was a train being run on Peanut's mom. And yes, I did have to explain this to
How did she feel about that?
Mother. Honestly, she handled it in stride. She was very professional.
Probably not the first time, right? She's heard a story like that?
Yeah, why not? Actually, interestingly enough, she has literally handled cases of this exact sort of nature where upon, and this is the narrative we spin, upon hearing about such scandalous, debaucherous activity, you all, in an act of pure passion, and here's a key, even if you, Rami, and the other members did not have the same passionate reaction as Peanut, it doesn't matter. You were just there to support him. Therefore, no terrorism. Your motive is to support your fellow gang member, a family member. Peanut himself is enraged. We'll bring him to the stand. We'll testify. We'll have to show that he is an easily emotional and psychotic person, which, you know, we can actually easily, it's Peanut, you know. We have to basically prove that he's not a cold, calculated killer, which we both know he's not. You stormed what was not the council meeting, but what you stormed was a meeting room. A room that was labeled as a meeting room. Two angles here for you. The first, the audio is such that we hear Peanut yelling, "This is for my mom." He had thought that they were all engaged in the debaucherous act. However, you, Mr. K, yelled out, "Meeting adjourned." And why did you yell out, "Meeting adjourned"? Because it was a meeting room and labeled as such. And secondly, what is a train but not a form of meeting?
Exactly. It's a meeting of people in the form of a train.
Exactly. And what are you going to say? Are you going to run in there and yell something like, "Derail the train"?
Keep railing here.
Pull into station? No. The colloquial
that would be inappropriate.
meeting adjourned. Exactly. Now, I want to make sure our witnesses are, you know, approved by you and make good sense for you and your boys. So we'll also need to call A1 Curtis to the stand as a expert witness with all things regarding sex and debauchery.
Okay.
He'll be one of our witnesses to outline exactly what a train is and why it constitutes as a meeting and why it would also constitute the heightened emotional state that Peanut was in. This clears you of your terrorism charge. The murder charge, a little trickier, but again, we can drop it to second degree using the train derailment strategy. The other part of the murder charge, as conferred with by my lawyer consultant friend's mother, it turns out that inappropriate actions carried out by EMS or doctors make it so that those charges then don't necessarily stick. However, that one is going to be trickier because A, he was shot.
Right,
and
we
B,
put him in that situation.
Right, and it's going to come down to the medical records. From what I've heard of rumors, is basically there was medical malpractice. We can discuss that. We can interview the doctors. It's not a silver bullet.
And apparently, it's not his first time. He's actually had a couple documented complaints against him, is what I was told.
Excellent. Yeah, could work in our favor. It all depends on what the medical report looks like. We can't rely on that defense. The main defense is actually kind of what you cooked up. The train derailment is the legal strategy I propose. The witnesses, people like Peanut, yourself, will testify to the emotional state that hearing of this train being run put you in. People like Curtis to testify for what exactly that train is, as well as we're going to need someone, or we're going to need some sort of story that demonstrates that you guys were actually informed of this. Again, it can just be witness testimony, but that's the reason that you went over to City Hall.
So I got someone that works at Mosley's. I can have them, his name's Robbie. He works at Mosley's, one of my boys. We could have him say he was there and saw us just chatting to some guy with red hair. Something simple like that, not too much detail. So you're telling me I did a great job in questioning, by the way. Is that what you're telling me? Thank you so much, Mick. That is so
You actually did.
I do got a lot of experience. Don't give too many details. Be vague, and don't make sure you're not giving them what they want for a narrative.
Well, and what's really crazy is I thought, I'm going to talk to you about the second thing, about the train derailment strategy that we're going to use. Because the first is, you gave us the perfect out in terms of motives. Terrorism and first-degree murder all require motives, which we have now successfully, taken care of. But the best part is, for any of the other charges, and for this entire case, the real strategy is the derailment, Mr. K. Because, see, we are going to put on courtroom theater. We're going to make the entire spectacle about the train and Peanut's mom. We're going to distract everyone from them actually having to prove any of the crimes that you guys are being charged with. They're going to be so busy, so flummoxed, trying to deal with the narrative that we've presented that they won't actually provide reasonable doubt for the other crimes. Ergo, we actually might even be able to get other charges dropped as well.
Beautiful. Now, have you been in contact with the PD? Have they given you the charges yet?
No. I need to be fully confirmed as your lawyer.
You are my lawyer.
And then you have to text it to me.